The Bar Exam series is a series just highlighting some of the best moments in hip hop on the mic. Episode one brings us Lupe Fiasco, one of the best lyricists that hip hop has ever seen. Lupe Fiasco represented Chi Town, while following the footsteps of a lot of dope MCs and lyricists coming from Chicago as well. Lupe Fiasco didn't really gravitate to hip hop like the casual fan or up and coming MC. A lot of people that first started listening to hip hop was at a very young age. Lupe said he wasn't voluntarily going out to cop the music, and he felt like a lot of the topics that hip hop was about wasn't really his cup of tea. He really gravitated to listening to classical music as a young kid. Every hip hop fan or up and coming MC had that one moment where hip hop blew their mind and changed things forever. Whether it was a song or an album, for Lupe Fiasco, that moment would be Nas's second studio album, It Was Written. This album would change everything for Lupe going forward. Lupe Fiasco would now be inspired to pick up the pen and start his hip hop career. Fast forward to 2005, the hip hop world would be introduced to Lupe Fiasco on a song called Touch the Sky off of Kanye West's second studio album, Late Registration. After the Touch the Sky verse, Lupe Fiasco piqued a lot of interest from a lot of hip hop fans around the globe. They would rush music websites to download any mixtape available of Lupe Fiasco to get a little bit more idea of what type of artist he was. Fast forward to 2022, Lupe Fiasco was teaching an introduction to rap theory and practice at one of the most prestigious colleges in America, MIT. Now, if you're wondering how Lupe Fiasco went from featuring on a Kanye West song in 2005 to now teaching hip hop, we'll show you an example of one of his best lyrical performances to date. In 2011, Lupe Fiasco would drop one of his best mixtapes that he's ever recorded called Friend of the People, I Fight Evil. On this mixtape, there's so many stellar performances of lyrical ability. You can take a couple more songs and break down these bars and create more episodes. But on this episode, we're going to focus on the fourth song called Double Burger with Cheese. On Double Burger with Cheese, Lupe Fiasco loops the listener into a nostalgic ride and roller coaster on some of the films that were huge in the 90s and also in the early 2000s. One of the cornerstones and pillars of hip hop was hood movies from the 90s and early 2000s. These movies were larger than life. And what was also dope is we got to see some of our favorite MCs in these movies and favorite actors. Good, bad, or ugly, these movies were really key to a lot of hip hop MCs because not only did it give them another stream of revenue and income, it also helped them show that they're not just one dimensional, that they had a lot of talent, and then that they can also bridge this talent into other avenues. Lupe Fiasco would conceptualize all of these films, how he felt, what he remembered, and then turn this into one of the dopest, illest songs of all time. Part of the brilliance of this song was Lupe naming the actors and MCs by their real names in the song, but also referring to the characters' names to kind of tie in that together. And then also a brilliant moment was when Lupe said that even at the end of Menace to Society, when Kane died, he's saying that even if he didn't die, he would have still ended up going to jail because of the tape that was floating around from the liquor store, which was brilliant. And then just drawing the parallels to two of the biggest films of the 90s, which was Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society. On one end, you have a young teenager who is saying through dope dealing that he can buy 100 footballs, right? And then on the other end with Sharif, this whole film he was preaching do right, trying to give Kane a lot of just good information that he was getting from his dad to kind of change his life. And then he ends up dying at the end. So if impressionable youth are watching this film, who would you want to be? And another genius moment in the song is when Lupe would parallel the lives of Purnell and OG Bobby Johnson. Didn't Rocket have the same gun that old man shot OG Bobby Johnson's son in the back with, or do I got it backwards? And Bobby Johnson was the one that put his fist up to the glass, and Kane put his fist up and dapped it. So on one end, OG Bobby Johnson is doing so much dirt that he goes to jail, and then the streets end up raising his kid. And then on the flip side, Purnell is in jail trying to give Kane wisdom. And just tying those two things together is just insane. And then finally, with two films starring Lawrence Tate that were discussed in the song Minister Society and Dead Presidents, which I definitely believe O Dog should have won some type of Academy Award for O Dog, because that was a crazy, crazy role that he played. But anyway, with O Dog, if you really watch the film, O Dog just took it to the limit at every single avenue he could, and he ends up never going to jail. So I think that was huge on a lot of impressionable youth that watched the film, because who didn't want to be O Dog, and who knows how many O Dogs could have been created just from watching that film. And then finally with Dead Presidents, kind of showing you that just serving your country, coming back home to a drug infested world that wasn't there before, and then having to rob and then go to jail, just really show the dynamic of both films, and also what Lupe Fiasco was able to manifest in the song. And just a key lesson into Lupe Fiasco's career from point A to now is that dumbing down your lyrics to double your money is never a great idea. Hone your craft, master your craft, especially when it comes to hip hop, because this can not only pave the way for your future, but you'll always have a job in hip hop and a home of hip hop if you take it serious. And always keep your pen sharp, because you never know what opportunities will lie down the road for you.